bard magic, but we're still not in that area.
How does bard magic work? Is there a font for it, or is it just a
Dude, magic flute!
Yeah, dude, magic flute, you're on the moon.
That man is eating a large beef. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, he's back now. What are they advertising? Oh, yep.
Of course. Probably the giant beef stick all of them were eating.
Maybe it was one of those red herring adverts.
Ask your doctor if testicular cancer medication is right for you. What? This is what men do. They hang out and they eat Jack Link sticks.
If I eat beef jerky, does it give me cancer?
No, it's just something guys do. So I put moon in and distilled backwoods. Oh, moonshine probably. Yes, yep, that's the moon.
I'd let you do that as well.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad I get to have your permission on what music I play.
I vote
-1 inspiration point and a point of de-inspiration.
Cool, I cast it onto Korvac.
Well, I'll use one of my inspirations to say, I'm rubber, you're glue.
No, he can do that. Yeah, he can do that.
And a wild crocodile.
Didn't even offer up an inspiration or a wish. What am I supposed to do?
We
with
just
that?
burned everything we have on this stupid scenario.
It is. What if I need him?
That is the motto of House Korvac, isn't it? What if I need it?
I always have at least 2 of everything.
I kind of want to buy you a shirt now that has like the house sigil of Korvac
You
on
guys
it.
know we're live, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I didn't know if I expressed that.
Yeah, we're making live.
Oh no, I'm not saying what you guys were doing.
Garbling.
I'm not saying what you guys were doing is bad. You guys always assume what I'm saying is what you're doing is bad. I was just like, oh, did I inform them? Because
So,
I probably should do that.
shirt with my sigil on it.
What if I need it? Oh, you know how we do this. If you just want to make a shirt, do it for the cheap by putting it on TKO first.
Yeah.
And then just having them just design it for you.
Yeah.
When you die, can I have that engraved on your tombstone?
What if I need it? It's my
And we're gonna like
insurance
bury
plan.
like a very important like item
Yeah.
with you. Oh, his will?
What if we took out the $44,000 in your bank account?
What if you need it?
Holy shit, you turned into like a fucking treasure hunt in like the state of Florida.
There we go, man.
It's just Harry Lodge again.
I'm gonna take 80% of my wealth with me to the afterlife.
Because I know Korvac needs the rest.
I love that we were like, he's left a dead drop of money, and there's others like, no, he left a dead drop of money for Korvac to find.
Yeah, dude, we got a speed run collecting all of the shit all of our one-shot characters have left.
I gotta go get Josh! Josh is in the moon, not in the moon, in the North Pole somewhere. He needs us.
I am level 25.
From being frozen?
Yeah.
Alright, so. Why is this on my side?
I don't know.
Get the fuck out of here. Should I kill him for that?
Probably.
Disobedience.
Indications say yes.
Okay.
You're thin ice.
Alright. Can you...
Am I going to die tonight?
Can I get a pen?
Let's ask. Answer unclear. Ask later.
Maybe I'll ask Alex this time.
I don't know. Everything I have always ends up over there on his side eventually.
What if this session, we don't put any thought into it, we just consort the orb for every single thing?
Yes, that's
Hey,
a good idea. Let's end
Your
the
DM
campaign.
here, really asking that you really don't do that. Kind of hoping.
Maybe for one.
Kind of hoping we get some good RP in these final moments. Some like coming of age, like hero time. You guys are just coming out of the Dark Night of the Soul. It's fun.
What does that say?
So you can count on it.
For what? My name is Mac. You can count on it. You've seen that video, right?
Yeah.
Of the insane man
Yeah.
trying to sell stuff.
Yeah.
What are you selling, Mac? What you saying sounds like the notes of blood written after your victims. Alright. Should we get on with it?
Kill
The
Fox.
stars say yes. So, with that, last time on Dragon Ball Z, you guys decided, hey, before we go on this mind-bogglingly terrifying mission, because we know apparently there's a teleportation device of some kind that'll get us on the moon, we said some goodbyes, reacquainted ourselves, a good night's rest, reconvened, and went on a gallivanting. You solved some riddles. You got to know them a little bit more. You missed out on seeing the meeting, or final meeting. Who knows? You guys said it was the meeting. You guys assumed it was the meeting of him and Frederick, but you never got to hop in that painting and relive that moment. So because of that, it's a mystery. You walked through his vault. You grabbed the opening gateway to the dimension of chains to use against the Praetorian. You walked by a monster that looked like Basco. Or maybe Basco was based off the monster. I don't know.
Shit, we gotta go rescue Basco.
Yeah, it's still being here. Everything you're saying is a lie. And then you walked up a ladder. You didn't go places for a little bit, but you resolved some things.
We kept running up that hill.
And eventually, you found yourself on the moon. Greeted by Magnus, saying, hey, I don't know how you did it, and I don't know why I'm dead, but it was going to happen eventually, so finders keepers laws, baby, that's wizards. And he was like, you basically hit the jackpot, motherfucker. I hope you knew what you were walking into. Just for Chakern to show up and say, hey, I'm also here. Don't get your hopes up. And a letter with him saying, yeah, I stashed it. I made my way to the moon so I could hide it, because this isn't the answer to your questions. Which you guys took a little bit of solace in, because you learned a little bit about him. What'd you learn on the ladder about him? That entire sequence? Do you guys remember? You guys have notes.
Yeah. So, it was about the meeting, was what showed up after we learned what we needed to learn.
He was an Eternal.
That he was an Eternal.
And then after that, what did you learn on the ladder?
That because of this, the Praetorian has effectively attacked an Eternal.
No, that's the conclusion you guys came to, which was the right conclusion to come to.
Right.
But there was something else you learned.
Oh no.
A flashback to the moment at the meeting.
Yeah.
What were they doing at the meeting? They made the promise.
Yeah. Well, they made the promise in full.
And what was the promise?
I promise that this world will not rely on you to take care of it. He said that humans... This is because it was getting so long, I'm like, I just need to fucking paraphrase it. He said that humans will eventually become as great as Chakern is.
Yeah, he essentially laid down the promise that it's not just me. If you give them a chance where they're not doomed to death, like they have been all along, if you get out of their affairs, if we just give them another time and stop fucking with them, they will eventually get as good as me. Because look what I did. And you guys love the shit out of me. Give them the time. Give them the opportunity. They'll impress you. Essentially. Inferring, ultimately, that, roll insight, if you haven't put 2 and 2 together,
26.
15.
Who was the promise about, Josh? I mean, Korvac?
I mean, the promise was about us.
Yes.
That we would be the ones because he read about us. And he knew we would get there. We would break humanity out of all of this. Well,
And ultimately live up to the promise that he's making now.
right. Because he could see the future. Which actually makes a lot of sense as to why he was able to make friends with everybody so easily.
He made a promise knowing it'd come true.
He cheated. I hate this man.
Taught Crunch everything he knew.
He is very dishonorable.
So, with all that, you find yourself sitting on the moon.
Are there any
guys-
snowmen?
Finish. You guys even said it in the moment that you kind of weren't mad that you didn't get what you want because you learned so much along the way. What else were you going to spend the time on? You sit in his lair. No prize yet. Not, really explored too much. You find yourself looking outside the mirror. Not the mirror, the window. On Earth. Sorry, Pangaea. You either think it's bigger or smaller than you thought it was. I'll let you make your own personal opinion on that. But you're sitting on the moon, looking at the Earth. You look to the other side and you can see an even larger moon that you're around, fucking with your perspective even more. And the smallest celestial body in your system. You were just on the largest. The moon, which you used to look up at and think, wow, was so much bigger than that, and that thing's so much smaller than that. And a thing that is even bigger than you. Once again, the moment of, yeah, let's take some time.
Yeah.
As you look over and see the rolling mountains of the fingers from a perspective you've never seen all of them all at once, because you can't. There's too many of them to block the view of one or the other. You can see the breadth, not just your home, but now your kingdom. You see the beauty of Grove Stand, like you've never seen it before. You can just look and tell that's the lushness and the greenness of your people. You see a large patch of smoldering earth far to the northeast of Pangaea. You see the mountainous region that Jakern's Tower used to be on its own island. You see the island that houses Keith's home/prison. And you start taking a peek at the other continent as it starts rolling over the hill, but it's just on the horizon coming. You can barely see anything. You notice an ever-growing, even larger archipelago in between, more than anything you thought. And that your time exploring it was just sort of a drip in the bucket. It's not looking like a world of just us and them, but maybe even a new third party in the middle. Ever-growing.
This is our chance to create the ultimate dead drop for campaign 2. Just drop shit into the Western continent.
I have 350,000 gold on me. I want to put it right there.
And 2 bird friends are about to become
I
very
wish
rich.
that 2 bird friends fine. And then it's just like one day campaign 2 episode like 13. Bing! Hey, what's that? Shpoong!
Oh, sweet. It's the fucking chains of Olympus or whatever that item.
Thanks, bud. Why would you give that to them? I was thinking you'd give all of your gold because you don't need it anymore. And then it would melt in re-entry and it would just become one giant gold hunk.
Yeah.
Tink, tink, tink. That'll be 3 gold. It's like shaving off of it. There you go.
I find out the economy in this continent's absolutely ruined, so 350,000 gold is like fucking 1920s Germany inflation levels bad.
Well, that's kind of the whole point of gold, though, is that gold has a value. So like that's why if you're just using a gold-based economy, you can just be like, we can agree that this amount of gold is always is not always, but is worth this right now.
So
like the point of gold, that's why like all gold coins look different in this world, because you're basically determining who has made it. There's a mark for if bismuth has made it. There's a mark for if the undertone has made it. But there is a consensus of everybody that every coin should weigh X amount.
Right.
But other than that, everyone else puts their flair on it.
So gold has value in real life based on scarcity.
Yeah.
In a universe where you can just create gold through alchemy, doesn't that kind of devalue gold in
Well-
the same way inflation would?
Oh,
Yes, but in the same talk, talk about the resources that are lost doing that, and that increases. If one were to start doing that, creating gold in such a way that it would destroy things, because remember, we're also in a world where like gold is burned to bring people back and like to do things. Gold is constantly being used for divination purposes. 25 gold every time someone wants to cast divination. Gone. So, sure, you can create some. The world is also actively destroying some. And, like, let's say that you find a spell that's able to do that. I think, I don't know, fabricate, I think you can create it, but you can't, like, it doesn't last forever. But let's say you do have someone who can do that magic. That's going to make the cost of, let's say, diamond, skyrocket. Because now everybody's using that. So now diamond becomes this thing that just fucks their economy. Their own economy of like, so you created more gold for yourself, but you're wasting it on the diamonds now to do it. Kind of thing. It's a fucked up, self-defeating economy. In my view of it, that's kind of why it gets away with it. The more you do it, the more you're burning of something else.
That makes sense. And it's a good thing we've discovered, the wish spell that can create 25,000 gold.
Yeah, that fucks everything. But, like, that's why not many people have it.
that moment when we go into a future campaign where we realize we're just solidifying actual arcane energy into gold. It's like, we can't cast magic anymore.
No, the Arcanum was a finite resource. Every time you cast Wish, you slowly stole from it. A man named Mac Fleetwood spent about 60% of the ley line's energy in his lifetime, and his magic was never the same.
It's weird. He should have lost wish after like 4 or 5 rolls.
It
But
just
like,
never happened. He lived his rival age and just kept doing it
every day, burn the wish, no matter.
What a fucking piece of shit.
His grandson's out there, and he is perfect.
That's what, it's weird that you say that, but that's kind of how, like, campaigns, like, because D&D technically has a lore to it. Like, there was an official lore to the world of D&D. The reason they explain the justification and the shifts of, like, why this is not how magic is done now in 1st edition and 2nd edition is because direct events has happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was, like, the tearing of the ether and, like, the primordials, and, like, things were shifting, and, like, magic was moving. Like, the ethereal plane was in, like, like, they've always created a reason why that, like, magic is fucked up now. So, like, if we ever got to, like, another edition, like say 3.5, we could say that, and I'm not saying that's what we will use, but, like, that's kind of what they have done. Yeah, the Duke boys done fucked up the ley lines again.
I love the idea of, like, this just, like, if, like, moving forward, every single campaign you make is set in the same, progressive universe. You're, like, in your 70s DMing for, like, an entire new group of people, and they find out, who's this Mac Fleetfoot, and who ruined the global economy?
So many goblets, just everywhere a goblet.
He had a wish sword, and he didn't use it!
Goblets everywhere. He opened the portal to the goblet dimension.
He only took 80% of his wealth?
What? He knew he was gonna die there, what?
You can't differentiate between who was an NPC in your lore and who was a player character, so people have to, like, guess.
Alright, let's get back on topic.
Yeah, sorry, I could do this all evening. I would say, because we're having our moment of tranquility, now seems like a good time to break out some of that Chakern Kush, no?
Yeah, sure.
So I'm gonna, smoke up some of that. Do you partake?
I'm just at the glass like,
I will destroy it.
I want to know what's out there, Mac.
Come on,
Leap into the void!
I can take it.
Well, I'm standing here and gravity's fine, so gravity must be fine out there.
Yeah.
Wow, I guess everything orbits around this moon, Mac.
Everything orbits around.
It's weird. Whatever planet I am on is the one that's the main thing being orbited around. How does that work? Am I
I'm
God?
always in the middle. Cool. It's probably because I'm the biggest and the strongest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, for you specifically, this should be a big moment.
Yeah. If you remember last time, I was going on about how small the planet looked.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Vincent looked even smaller. And to the point where I was just like, what the fuck, Praetorian? You're so tiny. Why you want to fuck everything up?
But also that he got the blessing from the moon.
Yeah.
Maliki. You've had,
This moon. It was this moon.
well, the moons.
Yeah.
Like if there was a tarot card in our universe for the moon, it would have both of them on it.
Right.
There's a connection here. You feel something. You've dreamt about it, and the moon has been a heavy focus of a lot of your dreams.
Hmm.
And now you're standing on it. And you feel kind of... as pants-shittingly terrifying as this should be, almost at peace and at home. Like, this is your realm, your lair. This is where you hunt.
Hmm.
You, on the other hand, too much of a Burke nerd to be like, oh, fuck. Thinking of all the other stuffs, you know? Probably.
I can see like space junk outside floating by, right?
What space junk?
Like meteorites, rocks, that kind of stuff.
There's not a lot. Like, even the asteroid belt, you probably only see one asteroid at a time. I mean, you know, the fact that one of you saw Vincent was bonkers. But you, I mean, if you're to say, like, if we're talking about do you see, like, comets and shooting stars at higher frequency because you're not looking through the atmosphere, I'm not talking about anything, like, close, but we're talking about, like, out there. Yes, that sort of stuff is viewed in higher visibility because, like, you know, you're not looking through light pollution, the atmosphere and stuff like that. So it is kind of like that. And you also get that, like, more larger view of the cosmos. But it also feels emptier, you know. Because it's not as special, because it's not reflected by green and light and earth. It's just nothing out there.
Yeah.
Why do you think it looks weightless out there?
What are we talking about?
So, like, when you're on Pangaea, it's, you know, you're centered, you're always on the ground, right?
I'm always on the ground right now.
Yeah, and when you jump, you return back to the ground.
I jump. Yeah.
There's artificial gravity in the place you're currently in.
But, like...
The gravity here does feel like you are on Earth's gravity.
Okay.
I mean...
Yeah, this is magic place. That's why there's oxygen and stuff. Like, you don't feel like, woo, because you're on the moon. I think I did say that. I don't know if I clarified, but yeah, everything seems normal inside.
How would you come up with that? Would you, like, see dust kicking up? Well, there's no wind on this planet, so everything's just settled, right?
I guess when you see the space junk outside, it's, you know...
What space junk? I told you there wasn't space junk, and then I said you could see comets in higher clarity light years away.
That's space junk.
I didn't say space junk. I mean... I will allow, like, the concept of, like, oh, you know, everything does seem weird because everything's going in its own direction. You know? And you can see that just naturally.
Like, why do they move like that?
What is this?
Why can't we breathe out there?
I mean, we've been told that might be the case, but we haven't tried it.
You were told somebody tried and died.
We were told somebody tried and died.
just seems like a completely different world out there, you know what I mean? A very empty world.
Yeah, like you said, there's no wind. You look out and you just see rocks and settled dust everywhere.
Yeah.
Like a dead world, just like you said. So by that time, you're done having this revelation. I'm not saying maybe done with it. I don't say that. But yeah, you finish your Kush, your Jakern Kush spliff. You got that shit rolled up. You're thinking, man, Basco was missing out. He has the moon blade.
Oh my god, and we didn't bring him. Wait a minute.
There's a slot for it and everything. So he would have been able to pilot the moon.
Pilot the moon, guys.
Dude, it's not that hard. We just go back down the ladder. Basco's.
You were told not to go back! Don't go back on the ladder!
We can just push him up here.
I was winning Malin.
He was in a bathtub.
Oh no! No, you idiots! Malin was gonna join us. I almost had him convinced. I'm gonna hit this spliff. Where the fuck am I?
Is that Earth? God, quit saying Earth. Is that Pangaea? No, you start thinking like that though.
Yeah.
Once you hit it, it is a different drag. It fucking lights up in different colors. It never has the normal orange glow. Sometimes it's blue, sometimes it's green, sometimes it's purple, sometimes it's yellow, sometimes it like it doesn't burn anything higher, but it like almost looks like a sparkler, like for a little bit. And at no point does it feel like you're congesting something poisonous. In fact, it tastes smooth. It tastes delicious. It tastes like nothing you've ever had. And at the same time, you feel euphoric. You feel light. You feel joyous. Things are a little wonky. Maybe a little bit more so like, oh, is this laced with something? Not anything like heavy, like, you know, fentanyl or DMT or anything like that. But like, it's giving you a little bit of something else. But at the same time, it's very mellow. And it's very calming, and there's no paranoia whatsoever. So you're like, it's not going to lead me astray. It'll take care of me.
Korvac sits over here seeing this thing light up like a sparkler.
It's like, do you want to put that in your lungs? Magnesium.
Look at that Marty under the table.
This is where I sniff his feet when he plays the games. See, I don't know if she's here or there. So normally my footstool's there. So sometimes I'll put my footstool off and like I'll put my feet on the ground. She's like, why are you squishing me? I'm like, I didn't know you were there. Because I was bad.
So,
should we wish Basco up here?
no, that would be very irresponsible of us when I only have one wish left to technically to cast before the battle.
Do you think there's a way you could poke around out there? I'm gonna look around if there was even an exit built in this building.
Did you hit the sploof, by the way? No?
It looks a little crazy for me.
He's fucking stone sober. We're not go out there.
I think I'm gonna go out there, Korvac. Don't, please! Go ahead and give me an investigation. While you do that, Matt, give me a perception check.
Oh shit. Just a 10.
Oh, shit. There's a lot to take in. Like, it's not a big place. There's a big display for where it should be. There's another layer above that, and there's sort of like that kind of rounded, grandiose sort of arcanum view. There's that sort of smoothed over metal, kind of like soft metal everywhere. And it's a circular, kind of hollowed out bit where it's supposed to be floating in the middle, and this whole kind of, what's the word? Atrium. This whole atrium is designed kind of clearly to sort of, oh, and there's like a viewing platform on the second floor. There seems to be just like small books here and there. You look around. There's like fucking spare bedrooms, some storerooms, and maybe like some fucking books. Like, but nothing. Like, this was clearly not a place that was meant to be stayed in for a long time. It was like a place to prepare food if he needs it. But this was clearly like a sort of, well, I gotta spend a day doing some experiments with it, so I'll be over here for a day kind of thing. That's the vibe you get. It doesn't seem like he left anything too important. You find kind of some manuscripts that you think might have been his, like, toolings and tinkerings with the font, getting it right, tweaking things, seeing what he could modify. But you can't make heads or tails of any of it, not only because of your own, beginning inabilities to read, but, like, this is also common from ages ago, so, like, it's slightly different. Also, on top of that, it's, just arcane and gobbledygook that is just beyond you. You do blood magic and stabby stab.
Out of curiosity, with my eye, if I wanted to spend the time on it, I couldn't be like, what's the definition of this word? And get, like, a Wikipedia article.
So, no, like, you get the words, but, like, the understanding of how this man created a font or the model, being able to do anything like that. You can read some of it, like, oh, I did this today. But, like, you get his musings, the corner notes. You can see those, but, like, the stuff in the middle, like, the core bits, that is just sort of, like...
So I understand that, because, like, even getting the definitions would be, like, I still don't know how the basics work.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, is it possible for my eye to, like, give me definitions of things?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I was curious about.
Yeah.
I know I'd be like, I still need to go for school for this.
No, yeah. Like, you can things, like, can sort of, like, tell you, like, give you, like, a little bit of sort of basal information about stuff all the time.
Right.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Like the cliff notes or something.
Yeah, like you're a Terminator now. What was your perception?
22.
You're looking out the window. You're seeing the reflection of yourself in it with your spliff. You're looking out back again. At the corner of your eye, behind you, you see quarterback sort of rooting around, exploring, doing his thing. But standing on the upper atrium, looking back at you, it's Chakern and Magnus kind of arms outstretched at the balcony, just kind of looking at the back of your head. You can see that in the reflection of the glass.
I turn around and look.
They're not there.
I look back at the glass.
They're there.
Hey, Korvac?
Yeah.
Can you come look at this, please?
With, like, a couple pieces of paper in my hand, like, walking over. What? What am I looking at?
Look at the reflection.
The reflection?
Right here.
Okay.
Give me a perception check.
19.
Takes a little bit of him, like, musing it. Here. Here? No. Here.
Mm.
And sure enough, the figure of Chakern and Magnus are standing in that balcony that you kind of perused over. You walked by that spot. They're not there.
Yeah.
But in the reflection, they sit there and kind of look as if they're musing over you, thinking about you, looking at you, pondering. They don't seem aggressive or violent. They actually seem almost pleased with themselves.
Was there ever a time where Chakern and Magnus were alive at the same time?
Roll history.
Blue. Pretty sure that's a 19. Let me double check. So we have
It's a 17.
19.
Not to your knowledge. Magnus would have been light years beyond. Because what you know, Chakern came from, like, the ashes. Like, shortly before things started getting restoration. He went on his journey, walked around the world, gathering the Eternals from that point. And that was, like, centuries after, like, during the Civil War. So, and he was much younger, as you know. Like, you witnessed that. So probably not. Almost assuredly not.
Mm.
But at the same time, he has a book with Mac Fleetwood's name on it. So, what the fuck? You know? Like, who the fuck knows?
What would be the best role for me to try and decipher what is going on?
Insight? As that is the role to decipher what anything is going on?
I think I have guess. Can I guess?
Yes, but
Maybe
you
I-
always...
Can I just feel like, because Magnus is its own god, he would technically have its own plane, and Chikern would have went to that plane, potentially? If he had to go to one plane after death, and that's why they would actually know each other?
They don't seem to be moving, though. They're not, like, doing anything.
Yeah.
They're not, like, beckoning you. They appear to be completely stationary to the point that you think they're a still image. So, this doesn't appear to be, like...
Some ghosting.
This isn't like you guys looking at the clouds and they're like...
Yeah.
It doesn't appear to be what the case is.
Okay.
I got a 23 on insight.
You've heard the concept of maybe burning an image on something. Maybe this is the same way in a magical sense. If that's the case, they're not even in the same place. It could be done at different times. I could burn an image on one, and then something else could come in here, and the light would burn the image on that as well, and it would appear that they were standing next to each other, almost.
Do you think this is supposed to mean something, or do you think it's just a trick of the eye? Do you think there's purpose behind this?
This is where we spend our 6 hours.
Mm.
I break the glass. No, no, Cormac. We
Well,
talked
now,
about this.
but now there's more of them.
Your big fucking thighs just block the glass and seal us back in.
He's been watching a lot of inflation porn lately.
JoJo? No.
No, what was your guy? Grong?
Oh, Grimonic?
Grimog, yeah. Getting too fat, getting stuck in the window.
That was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I got a really bad feeder fetish after that.
Alright, could I insight on the idea of potentially this is Chikern? Because he already wrote his, I almost said Marduketh, I almost said Malin.
Magnus.
Magnus is another M. Overwrote Magnus's little message. Is this just him being like boastful in a sense?
Has he seemed boastful before? I mean, he's grandiose, but to like teabag a guy in his own home, does he seem like the guy to do that?
No.
Well, maybe there's more to this.
And it looks like they're looking at us or beyond us.
Looks like they're looking at you, but what is you when you're a still image? That's just a trick of the eye. Maybe you're standing at the place that they were looking when the image was taken. For both of them. It looked like they were looking at the back of your head.
So
But now that you realize they're not moving, they're stationary. Would they be looking at you in a photograph like that? Maybe there's more.
could I go to their location and see if I can still see the reflection from there?
Absolutely. So you go up there, you kind of have walked to the far wall inside and kind of walked up onto that second layer and into the atrium. And you kind of, are you staying there for like a reference point?
Mm-hmm.
What do you do as you approach this balcony? You can see that absolutely Chikern and Magnus are not there.
Yeah.
But you approach the balcony and you can see Mac.
Yeah.
The image was much too small for you to make out. I mean, you can go ahead and roll perception, but tell me exactly what you do as you approach this balcony.
Could I like strike the same kind of pose? Like they were leaning over a
They were
railing.
like, yeah, putting their hands down on the rail. So you want
Yeah.
to put your hands down on the railway? Absolutely. So I'm going to need you to tell me what this perception check is, and then immediately make an intelligence saving throw.
15.
Say
Saving throw, you say?
Yes, sir. Yeah, you, by the way, do not notice anything with that perception check.
Okay.
Not like it matters, because something else is about to happen to you.
So, it was an 18, but I knocked it into a 20, but I'm going to say it's just a 19.
Yeah, it's still an 18.
So it's a
because
19.
the other die roll moves it.
So yeah, it's just a 19 total.
What was your D1? Just a +1?
It's just a plus
Oh
one.
yeah, and your intelligence is just
Zero.
like, yeah. You're a strong boy, though. As soon as you rest your hand on it, you kind of see. Let me define the room a little bit. From this point that you're looking at, there's a sort of long, sort of open way. And then the atrium that you're in right now, where the giant font was supposed to be. And the back wall with the stairway that goes up. And then the kind of, this area also has a walkway that they were kind of standing at. One was here, one was here. You put yourself right in the middle there, put yourself down. And then you're looking at Mac, who has this giant window. And the window goes underneath you too, a little bit, like a little bit of a sliver. So you're like standing underneath you and seeing a little bit of glass. And since you're pushed out from this little structure that you're on, and the way that the gravity is, it's almost like you're standing out into space, because the gravity shifted a little bit, because it's magical anyways. You're kind of poking out the side of the moon. Because the main focus is Earth.
Right.
To have that as the perspective of like the owl. Or Pangaea, I should say. And then instantly, the day-night cycle starts. You see Pangaea spin faster. You see the sun go. You see the other moon. You see everything just move faster. Mac's not there anymore. Just forward. Then eventually it stops and slows down.
I feel like I would have fallen on my ass at that point.
Nope. You're like locked into place.
Okay.
Remember, it's artificial gravity. You see days, specific days sort of show up, and then like you see the names like etched in the columns around you. And each time you stop, you get these images in your head. A child is born. Another child. My brother's born. Another brother. Feelings, emotions. You don't see much, maybe flashes, maybe pictures of things that you can't even describe, faces you don't recognize, but they're attached to emotions. There are dates that you don't even understand why they're important, but you hit them all the same. Dates that can't be maybe struck by just obvious deaths or births, but you slowly get the feeling that you were shown some of the most pivotal dates to come in a potential future. And it provides you a sort of moment of solace. And the smirk goes across your mouth. And as you come back to fruition, you now see Korvax in the reflection as well, even as he kind of, he's sitting stuck in the same exact position.
Is it overlapping at all?
Now that you've stepped away from it,
Yeah.
you don't see it.
I don't
You're
see
still
it.
far away. But no, it's not overlapping because you stepped away from it. But Korvac is still definitely standing there, much like the other one, as if he's stuck in time. But now that I've described that to him, I'm going to focus a little bit more on what exactly happened to you. When you start seeing these days, you kind of feel like you're piloting it after a while. Because you kind of are like, I don't know what this is. What is this? And you see things start to go faster. And you're like, what was that? And you kind of go backwards. And you realize you're piloting the day-night cycle. things to come and maybe things that have happened. You get to relive sort of moments. You are piloting it. What do you look for? That smile, by the way, that smirk, is the one that is frozen on his mouth. Oh, what did we go for? We saw a lot of happy things.
We saw was what you described to me.
There was a lot of happy things, yeah. There was some bad things too, as there is in every life, and even those days are important too. It doesn't have to be anything specific. It doesn't even have to be anything story related. It can be something story related if you want. There's no wrong answer here, but you kind of get the feeling that all of these are kind of blasting past you, and you kind of get the feeling that there is a potentially great future ahead of you.
So I think.
But what do you get pulled to? What do you want to experience before you get pulled away?
I want to like re-experience like the very beginning of our adventure. So the time when we're in like a sniper combat with Rainey for the first time. That whole like that's kind of when we kind of found out who each other were for the first time, I feel like.
And that was right before you went to the Courage Foundation too.
Exactly. But I also think out of all the players that played, you know, that's when we really figured out how everybody's going to react in a weird situation.
Yeah.
So it was a lot to learn from that.
You go back and you sort of, you feel jointly, much like when you did when you were with Chuck Hearn, you could feel yourself from your perspective, but from everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You re-experiencing the adrenaline, the cold sweat that you don't even feel at the moment. The thrill of rounds snapping over your head as you were hunting this person who was hunting you. And as much as some of the other people in your group are handling it poorly, some of them doing futile things, some of them doing smart things, it's not to say you're ashamed, but you're not comfortable enough yet showing how excited this is making you.
Yeah.
At the pretense of everything. Because, just like you said, you're meeting each other for the first time. And just as you're seeing these things affect other people, and how poorly you're receiving them for it, you don't want to give away too much on your own end.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, that day did kind of... You weren't just a collection of strangers anymore. You were a group, despite what you didn't like about each other. Or
Maybe one of the first arguments, even.
big ones.
Big ones.
Several
Big
big
ones.
arguments about...
Life and death.
what was Warlock's name?
Zaris.
Zaris. About Zaris poorly handling an enemy combatant. About how two people on your team both made deals and immediately lied about both of them to try to kill someone who was trying to stop fighting you.
Yeah.
And that was the first time it was just you and Mac. How about that? It was
It
just
was.
the two of you who were like, hey guys, let her go.
Yeah, that's true.
This is not how we should be handling this.
Yeah. It's the first time Mac and Korvac were
You look like-
alone and together.
They were like, hey, we didn't expect this, but
It's weird how we've made it all the way to the end.
if I'm not mistaken, there was a moment where you were riding him as a ram? As an elephant?
Mm-hmm.
Or no, as a
Oh.
mammoth.
It was a vice versa, yeah.
Not Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops.
Yeah, because we saw the...
Yeah, so you were a Triceratops and you were riding him.
Because I remember we were trying to like control the situation.
Yeah.
Or were you a Triceratops?
I think I
He
was the
was
one
the
transformed.
Because that was just like, can I just turn into Triceratops and just charge her? And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. Remember when someone made, was it you that made the head pokey
Yeah, he
thing?
did.
He was like, I'm going to spend 2 turns making like a sort of like, and then immediately shot it. And it was just like, all right, now what do you do? And they're like, I don't know. Like, I was like, that was what I was hoping happened, but I didn't know how that was going to benefit me. I'm 2 movements behind everybody now, aren't I? He's like, yep. It's just like, alright. I think he dimensioned forward to a tree, which actually ended up making you ahead of everybody. Good times. And you sort of relived that whole combat, including the chase that eventually led to the first time you saw Savor.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to call him Tybalt. That's the wrong guy. I'm here now too, for some reason. Wrong Tiefling!
Where's my money, Matt?
And the first time you heard the word...
Cringe Foundation?
I'm disappointed in
I'm
you.
disappointed in you.
No. No, Cringe, you had read... Cringe was also on the letter.
Yeah. I think, Savor just told us he was disappointed in us, and I... Boop.
Yep. Shot up in a bolt of lightning.
Yep.
That was very confusing for you, and now it's like... Mode of transportation you're very common with.
Yeah.
And in that, you have your moment of peace.
I will always reflect on the fact that that was like a statement that was made to Mac about, making rash, brazen movements. And then at the end of our campaign, I criticized Savor for the exact same thing, pretty much.
I just love that moment where I had to argue with those like, oh, I don't understand why she just gets to kill me. A gun is at your temple. Like, we talked about this before we even started. There are moments where we just agree that some things will just kill you. Like, if you consume a very, very deadly poison, power word kill. Like, there are things that will just kill you.
Like when I drink my coffee.
You touched the orb of death. There was no... He just died. Yeah.
Oh my god, power word kill was a horrible spell.
You did it to somebody.
No, it's not even that. You think about it from the perspective of like high level combat. You're like fucking, last ditch move to win. Imagine using it on a much lower fucking adventurer. You're basically just fucking, whatever, piss off.
Yeah. Like, just anyone under level 10, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Dead instantly.
Are we the baddies?
Not yet.
Close.
That's campaign 3.
So,
What?
Yeah.
Are the Bird Bros gonna have to kill Mac?
you're part of the military-industrial complex, baby!
We're gonna be the bad guys.
Imperialist dogs.
Which one of us hates?
Cannot wait. So,
Which one of us hates birds?
you step away from this moment after experiencing not only several brief glimpses of things to come, things that have happened, your mother coming back to life, your mother passing. All of these things in moments. And there's sort of like a calmness to it. It's just, no matter what happens, that big old ball's gonna keep spinning. And the future seems hopeful. Do you relay any of this information to your friend who is now also seeing, I don't want him to experiencing this.
This is all mine.
It was awful. I wouldn't recommend it. I have to fight two evil cringes? Ooh.
Wasn't good.
You also do have the thing that you can now see him in the window that you're also now relaying to him.
What? I can see you in the window now.
Well, yeah, I'm up here. Listen.
Fucking bitch! Yeah, I'm up here, you moron!
Fucking club you with that.
I saw so much time flash by. Mac, I think you need to come check this out.
Oh, okay, and I scamper over there. So what do I do?
He's kind of short. Is it gonna work? Like, does he just like rest on it?
It's not. There are bits that are like not solid.
Oh, okay.
Like it's kind of like a wired balcony sort of thing.
Oh, so he can like just kind of like hang, or just
No,
like
they can see him like because there's a bar here and a bar.
Oh,
here.
okay. There we go. Yeah. So just
Intelligence saving throw.
No perception check.
He
I was looking.
he asked to look for something. I gave him the perception check because he asked for something.
I don't even know what a fail or a save. I don't know if that was a fail or a save. Or
Unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20?
Yeah.
The days start spiraling. Darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness. Stop. Birth. 2 boys. Darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness, darkness, lightness. A baby girl. Darkness, lightness, darkness, 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 lightness, darkness, lightness. Infinitum. A death of someone close to you. Marriage is in between. Funerals in between. Moments of great joy and moments of great sorrow. A great life lived. But much like he experienced, over time, you realize you can relive things again. Briefly. And it's hard to even retain it. It's much like a dream. Like it's not tuned for you. But you are able to get some things. What day do you want to see? Forwards, backwards, right now?
Can I go, like, further before I was even born?
To where?
I'm so sorry. I'm just debating what I want to do.
Like what?
So my thoughts are, I'd really like to see the battle between Brando, Crench, and Matt Fleetfoot Sr. and how that went down. But I also want to see the moment between Frederick and Chakern.
You don't know what moment was housed, so you don't know what moment to go to.
Fair.
I will also say this, you kind of had that story of what happened because it's kind of played out in your head because of you being the key to the whole lock and key mechanism. You did kind of see both the moments before and after his capture. So there's very little that you haven't seen of that battle. So I don't want to shit on either of those ideas, but you have a pretty fair understanding of both of those things. And the one, you don't really know what exactly you're asking for. So you don't know where exactly you'd be going. There's a lot of days that they shared together. You don't know which one he framed.
I'm gonna do like a generalized period of time. I want to see the point in which Crench wandered the Earth after crashing into Pangaea. Is that something that's possible? Like a kid in a candy store.
It's sort of going through, and it seems like you're kind of hitting that sort of cycle. And it seems like it's looking for something more specific. Like you said, it's tough. It's not fine-tuned. You know, it's not meant for you, so you're not 100% sure. Like, I'll check engine lights on or something, but you don't know what the warning is. So you don't know exactly what, but you kind of get the feeling that there's like a specificity issue. And that you're so, you know, maybe it's the fact that you're looking for a single time frame and you're asking for a long time. Because you do know that Basco did tell you, because he, you know, had that conversation with Crench, that he was a fairly old fella by the time he made that passing.
Can I see the moment that journey came to its end? When he finally was able to bring his family back? I would either want to see that or the moments after he crashed into Pangaea.
It hits one first. Obviously, it's going to hit the last one first because it's going back. And that's the one that it'll show you. You see, it's from his perspective. His hands are old. They're not the hands that you know now. They're ragged. They were not as prim and proper. You see him set a leather-bound book down on the table. You see a wall structure around you that you recognize as a pattern. It's his castle. He seems to be dressed in just rags, as if he's just at the end of a journey.
Does he have the axe with him?
Would you let me finish? When he puts the book, he does put a sort of cloth covering over it. You turn and he sees that the armor that you recognize that he walked around in is sitting there. It's almost like, oh fuck, I finally, get rid of these rags. And there's a spot right next to it. And he hangs Chakern's axe on it. But it's not Chakern's axe. It's floating elements of it, as if it's been shattered and held together by a nexus. Inside that nexus, or connected or binding to it, is this immovable rod. It looks as if it's almost brand new. It hasn't been fully charged. It's almost still a collection of pieces. It hasn't been forged in battle, and it's a heroism. To be the axe that you know now, it's still got the elements more of, the Dark Knight than it does Grinch. He looks around, pats himself off, makes sure he's got everything where it needs to be. He puts himself in a small box that appears to be a coffin. And it seems like time is a-coming. And you just hear under his breath, "I'll be with you soon." And then some sort of magic and then static, as if he ended his life with it. Was that what you wanted?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it's a moment to see something that you would never be able to conceptualize. Granted, there were about a million things in this campaign I could have done, but...
I just gonna ask when the book got to him.
Go touch that rod again.
I go through it again.
After you both come out, a large projection of Chakern emits itself from the center of the room, much where the arcane font should have been. And he projects himself in front of you. Rather large, towering in front of the whole room.
I don't know what it is that you saw, or what it is that you witnessed. Be it past, present, or future. Know this. Nothing is in stone. You may find that for one of you, or all of you, to have this sunny future, one may not. Maybe It's the case for both of you. Just know that just because the things you've seen with me, or the things you've seen here, doesn't mean everything's in the clear. We still have to work every day to make sure that future is just as bright. Not for us,
He kind of points out and gestures.
but for them. It is the duty and responsibility of those as powerful as we to not sit idly by. Magnus regretted it. It's why he took his life to save it. It's why I made that promise. It's why you are all here now. I feel like I know you. But I do know that I love you. I rest on your shoulders so that you may rest on mine. And I hope that one day, in some bizarre manner, our paths may cross. But now that you've had this gift, welcome to a very distinct and rather elite club. And recognize yourselves as powerful as you are for being here. You're one of us now. And I can't wait to see you again.
And he disappears.
It literally just did 4 seconds ago.
Cool beans.